everybody to High Ground MTG. I am your host for the night, Spidey Mouse, and that's my phone. We are about to jump into a league with my little build of green-white Enchantress. I've seen this deck kind of floating around a little bit, doing some things here and there. Pretty interesting deck, and I think I've got a halfway decent build here. I don't know if I want to call it budget. It's not quite budget, but we're probably running less fetches than everybody else, at least. But we're also running Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx, and we'll get into that later, as well as Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth, a new land from MH2. Pretty sweet, pretty sweet. So what are we doing here with green-white Enchantress? And the answer to that question is so much. So let's go over some of the deck. We've got some removal. We've got On Thin Ice because it's an enchantment that removes creatures for one, which is pretty good. We have a lot of snow-covered lands, and in fact, all of our basics are snow-covered lands, so we can activate this pretty regularly. We have Arbor Elf Utopia Sprawl package. Now, I've seen a lot of people playing the Arbor Elf, or not the Arbor Elf, just the Utopia Sprawl with the other one-mana enchantment that also gains you, like, well, it doesn't actually, I don't think it actually gains you a mana, it just fixes it. But I like Arbor Elf Utopia Sprawl, pretty classic modern combo there. And the reason we're also playing this is because it works really, really well with Nykthos and Yavimaya. So if you have Arbor Elf, Nykthos, and Yavimaya out on the battlefield, you get to untap Nykthos with an Arbor Elf, because Arbor Elf says untap target forest. Yavimaya makes all the lands forests, and then you make a lot of mana, as hopefully we'll see. I don't know. I did some playtesting earlier. It worked out pretty sweet. We'll see if we can actually make it happen in the league. So let's go through the rest of the deck. So the rest of the deck is Destiny Spinner. We have 3 of those. Creature and enchantment spells you control can't be countered. It's a 2-mana enchantment creature human from Theros Beyond Death. You get to pay for target land you control becomes an XX elemental creature with trample and haste until end of turn, where X is the number of enchantments you control. It's still a land. So that has some interesting effects. Just kind of a way to win the game in the late game. Win the late game. We have a couple of Sanctum Weavers, which is a 2-mana kind of Birds of Paradise, sort of, kind of, but also you add X mana of any one color, where X is the number of enchantments you control. Hopefully we'll be controlling a lot. It itself is an enchantment. We're also running Sylvan Anthem, which is not a creature, but does give our green creatures +1/+1. We get to scry whenever a creature enters the battlefield. This card is sweet. I don't know if it actually belongs in this deck. I'm going to try it out because it does cool things. You get to kind of fix your deck, or fix the top of your deck. As we'll see, we draw a lot of cards with Sithis and other things. And so being able to fix what's on top can be really important. The one bummer is that our effects say whenever you cast an enchantment. So Sithis says whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you gain 1 life, draw a card. Sylvan Anthem is whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you get to scry. So the timing is a little bit weird, but it does pump up all of our creatures, which can be really relevant against like burn and things like that. Means that, like, if our opponent brings in, you know, -1 things, here's looking at you, Plague Engineer, you know, names, I don't know, humans or elves or whatever. Obviously it's not like super good against us, but in case they did, you know, it kind of beefs it up a little bit to get out of there. Makes it so like Arbor Elf doesn't just die to a random lava dart, which is definitely a big thing that can happen and sucks. So anyways, we'll go through the rest of the deck. Sterling Grove, 2-mana enchantment, green-white. Other enchantments you control have Shroud. Cannot be targeted by anything, including your own stuff. You can pay 1 to sacrifice it, and search your library for an enchantment card, reveal it, then shuffle your deck and put that card on the top. So obviously this can go get our combo pieces. It does have to be an enchantment card, which obviously like 90% of our deck is. Yeah, so it's pretty sweet in our deck. Just being able to give our stuff Shroud is pretty neat because we don't want our stuff killed. Already went through Sithis, 2 mana, 1/2 creature. It is the backbone of this deck for sure. We have 1 of Banishing Light to just get rid of pesky permanents of all sorts. 3 solitary confinements. So we have Shroud, prevent all damage that would be dealt to you. Skip your draw step, unfortunately, but at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice solitary confinement unless you discard a card. The plan with solitary confinement is obviously to get down a Sithis or one of our other card draw engines, and then we don't need to worry about our draw step. We can just draw cards all day long, and in fact do pretty well. So 3 of those, really good against like Burn and the Blitz deck that's running around. Enchantress's Presence. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, draw a card. 3 mana, pretty easy, thing to just throw in there. 2 Setessan Champions. Whenever enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on Setessan Champion and draw a card. So again, just draws more cards, becomes a real beefy threat pretty quickly. We're actually gonna go. We're going to go the full 4 on this, actually. This is just better, I think. I'm probably missing something, but I convinced myself we're going to do it. All right, so we changed it up a little bit. So now we're just running 4 Citizen Champions. Talked myself into it. We'll see how this goes. 1 Eidolon of Blossoms. Whenever Eidolon of Blossoms or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. So just another of these effects. It's a 2/2 by itself. 1 Cast Out, again, just to get rid of pesky permanents. Exiles target non-land permanent until it leaves the battlefield, obviously. 1 Sigil of the Empty Throne, again, as just kind of a late game I win. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying. 1 Prismatic Ending, new removal spell for Modern Horizons 2. And then 1 Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn, just to beat Mill. Or because we can actually just cast it because we make so much mana, if everything goes right, obviously. Which, when does everything go right? In the sideboard, we have Stony Silence, 2 Suppression Field. This is a little awkward with our Arbor Elves, because Arbor Elves do end up costing more mana. So we will have to be mindful of that, and might have to actually take those out if we have to sideboard these in. 2 Leyline of Sanctity, 1 Authority of the Consoles, 2 Rest in Peace, 1 more Prismatic Ending, a Resurgent Belief, which is a new card. Return all enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Cannot be cast, has to be suspended for 2, takes 2 turns. But if we're running against, any sort of like removal heavy style deck, this is going to be real good for that. Also works okay against control. They do have the option of counter it when it comes down. Excuse me, but it is something we can do. 1 Seal Eye of Primordium as an enchantment-based enchantment hate / artifacts. And 2 Veil of Summers and a Void Mirror. Because whenever a player casts a spell, if no colored mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell. So this gets around all of the free spell shenanigans that people are doing. Don't like that. We are gonna pay for our spells with real mana. So we're gonna make our opponents do the same. Yeah, that is the deck. I can't remember if I said Seal of Cleansing and Seal of Primordium. We have both. I don't know, because they're different colors and they do the exact same thing. Literally, the exact same thing. Just for funsies, I guess, we don't want someone to target that and then remove it from our deck or something. I don't know. It's just for funsies. We're running both. Alright, that is the deck. Let's jump into a league and see how badly we get crushed. Alrighty, welcome everybody. High Ground MTG here, Spiny Mouse, and we're on Green White Enchantress. Alright, we'll give this hand a try. It's not super fast, but we could have a sigil down pretty quickly here, depending on how things go. We'll get to play, assuming everything goes right, which it won't. We'll get to play our Arbor Elf turn 1, our Sithis, and an extra Arbor Elf turn 2. So that's something. Opponent mulliganing down. Okay, Temple Garden, untapped, and Arbor Elf, go. Opponent down to 6 cards. Plains. Aether Vial. Uh-oh. We up against my favorite deck, Death and Taxes. Alright, I don't think there's any reason not to play this out right now, so we'll just do that. Opponent's going to read our Sithis. We're going to untap this forest here. We're going to play our second Arbor Elf, and we're going to say go. Hope that our opponent doesn't have Leonin Arbiter shenanigans. As much as I love Leonin Arbiter shenanigans, would like to see them not happen here. Another Plains. Okay, so no Ghost Quarter. Stoneforge Mystic. Alright, well, nothing we can do about that. We do have the prismatic ending, and I figured out how this works. I was playing this in playtesting, and it's worded weird in the rules thingy over here. Cauldra complete. All right, so obviously Cauldra is scary. Another Arbor Elf is not where we want to be. Yeah, we have 5 mana though, so we can just like play this Sigil. Yep, okay. Untap, untap. I don't think our opponent has anything they can vial in for 1 that we should be too scared of, but we'll see. Yeah, we're going to always yield to that. Sanctum Weaver. Alright. Well, we get to play that next turn. Not gonna attack here, obviously. Does our opponent have a Giver as well? Okay, they do not, it looks like, which is good for us. We needed them to not have Giver so we can prismatic ending their stuff. Ghost Quarter, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Alright, well, they're tapping the Ghost Quarter. That's good. That means they don't have the Arbiter. There is the Cauldron complete. Does this have haste? Oh, it does have. Okay, sure. Yeah, yep. That's the thing. We're gonna take 5. Just fine. No blocks. We need them to not have a path, I guess. Which does seem like they could be keeping that up. Other than that, though... Okay. As Arbiter. Interesting that they... Because they could have left Ghost Quarter up. Huh. Alright. Ooh. Okay. Let's go Sanctum Weaver here. Let's always yield to this. Yeah, we're just going to create some 4/4s. Let's see. Untapped. Yes. It's a little awkward because... So let's see. Let's go add green. Untap it. Untap this. Solitary Confinement. Gonna gain some life. Okay, that's gonna come down. So we no longer take combat damage. And then I guess we're just going to choose that. Pay 1. X is 0, which is fine. It's so weird because it says X is 0 and you're like, oh no! But we have paid 1 white, so it should be equal to 1. Okay, good. That did work. I'm always a little worried about that not working. Yeah. So yeah, we'll pass the turn here and hope that we do need to draw another enchantment, obviously, to get things going here. We have a lot of mana though. We have a lot of mana. Obviously, our opponent can Ghost Quarter us here. Ooh, can't cast more than 1 spell each turn. Well, that is annoying. So we need to be able to get rid of that. So now we need, like, Cast Out would be great. Yeah, that's awkward. That is awkward. We also have 2 4/4 flyers. So our opponent's going to have to start blocking or we start doming them for 8 each turn. Whenever our opponent's deciding whether or not they want to Arbiter us. It's obviously not the end of the world if they do. Yeah, they're going to. Okay, that's fine. Okay, we lose one land, but like we have Sanctum Weaver, we have Arbor Elves aplenty, so not too worrisome. All right, what are you putting in, opponent? Chooses not to use. Okay. Well, I suppose that works. Works for me. And goes to end. All right. Okay, well, we're going to discard this Arbor Elf here. And hope that... Oh, right, we don't draw. Perhaps that was a mistake to play that. Oh, this enters tapped. Alright, well. We're going to attack. We will have to discard this next turn, or sacrifice this next turn. That's okay. Oh, opponent just scoops it up. I wonder if they noticed, but oh well. Okay, so... Interesting. We just want Prismatic Ending, number 2. And I think we bring in Stony Silence, Seal of Cleansing, Seal of Primordium. Do we bring in Suppression Field? Maybe? Maybe? I don't think we bring in Authority of the Consoles. I don't think so. They do have some activated abilities like Ether Vial and whatnot. I don't know if it's good enough against them, though. I think maybe we just try the removal spells. Go from there. So let's take out Eidolon of Blossoms. Maybe take out a couple Enchantresses. Well, maybe just one Enchantress's presence. And then take out a Utopia Sprawl, because they're going to be targeting our lands, and we can't like put too many Utopia Sprawls on one land. And then actually, is Sylvan Anthem just bad? Yeah, Sylvan Anthem is actually just bad. So maybe bring in that back in. I don't know. I'm not convinced Utopia Sprawl is good against them because of their Ghost Quartery goodness. Can't even be mad. Well, especially because we won, but also just because I love that play. This hand is pretty slow, but we have the Sterling Grove, which is kind of nice. We have a removal spell. We have our Sithis, so I'm going to keep this. We have a Nykthos, which we can potentially use to cast things at some point here if we need to. And our opponent just doesn't just, like, you know, destroy all of our lands. I wonder if they'll even keep in the Arbiters against us. Giver of Runes is unfortunate. But I guess we can just get rid of that now. Right? Yeah, let's just get rid of that now. X is 1. I hate that it says X is 0. But it does. That's what it says. Alright. Giver of Runes gone. El Ganjo Castle. Igonjo Castle, not El Ganjo. Oh. That's pretty good against us, actually. Oh, well, there we... Alright, yes, and on thin ice, this land, this mana's. We would have liked to get our Sterling Grove down. On thin ice is also less good against them because of Ghost Quarter. Which, you know, obviously they didn't take out their Ghost Quarters. Even if they took out their Arbiters, they did not take out Ghost Quarters, most likely. Unless they have some weird sideboard plan, but we'll just keep removing lands here. Or not removing lands. Removing creatures. There is Arbiter. Don't have a removal spell for that. There's an Ether Vial. Not too worried about it, though. Alright, so let's put down the Nykthos. I guess we just get down Sterling Grove. If our opponent does have the Ghost Quarter, it's going to be rough for us. Would we get down Cetessan Champion? No, I think we just get down the Sterling Grove. Because they do have removal spells like Path and whatnot, we want to be careful with our creatures. Obviously, we'd love to get, like, sit this down first so we start drawing cards, but I think the Shroud is pretty important. I guess we do have the 2 Sithis, so maybe we play 1 Sithis just to make them have the removal spell. But I'm not too worried about it. We also will have to make sure, like, if we do want to, like, sacrifice this, we'll have to pay for Arbiter, so... well, never mind. Never mind. Alright. Ooh. Of course, of course. I guess then we just play... Oh, we can't tap this for mana, huh? If we draw Yavimaya, though. If we draw Yavimaya... Yeah, so I guess we just play Sithis Go. We could have played Secession Champion, but I'd like to get Sithis down so we can start drawing cards. I mean, I guess maybe Secession Champion would have been better, actually, now that I think about it. Would have used our mana better. Would have been a bigger creature. I forgot this also draws us cards. I was thinking it just got bigger, but it does draw cards. Yep, no blocks. No blocks, friend. The opponent has nothing? You have the Silent Clearing, though. Interesting. Let's see. How much mana can we... Let's see, we make 1, 2, 3. So Nykthos does make a mana at this point. So we say green, and we tap. No, it does not. Never mind. Oh, we have to make white mana. I see. Which doesn't actually... Well. So we make white. Tap. It only makes 3. So, nope. Okay. So what we need to do... I guess we just play the land... Tessin Champion or Seal? We just play the Champion. Oh, it's not an enchantment itself. Oh, yeah. So we definitely should have played this in the opposite order that we did. 100%. Not going to attack into that open vial there. Especially with Silent Clearing. Oh, they didn't crack their Silent Clearing. Interesting. I wonder what they have. I wonder if they have Batterskull in hand and they're like hoping to get to 5 mana. Not too worried about Batterskull. What you got, Denageth? What you got? Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. Again, they do have the Silent Clearing that they can crack. They get in. I don't think there's anything they could have that would like pump their Arbiter or like deal 1 damage. So I guess we're gonna block one of these. Maybe I'll regret it. Okay. Nothing. Emrakul. Alright, we're ways off from Emrakul. A little ways off. Alright, add green. This makes 3 green. It's not very many. I guess we are a little taxed on mana, honestly. Yield. Let's draw some cards, gain some life. I'm like tempted to keep this. If we could get rid of their vial. Ooh, that's pretty alright there. Yield. On land. It's not a land, but is honestly pretty good. Do we attack here? We don't have Shroud. We could also play the extra Sithis too, to like, because it does draw us a card, but if we need to. But I didn't want to, just in case they had some way to remove things. I think we're going to stay back on defense. We're all right here. I'm going to keep this Seal of Primordium. I don't know what they have in their hand. Chooses not to take up. All right. Yeah, we don't know what they have in their hand. Another Silent Clearing. Maybe if they start cracking this. Let's see. So how many lands will we have next turn? We have 3 mana of those. So at the very least, we can play Solitary Confinement. If nothing else. Well, we can also play... Oh, well. Yeah, unfortunately, we can't... We can't pay for Arbiters. Obviously, we don't have 4 mana. So that's gone. That's fine. I guess we should have attacked in case they had Path, but we are at 11. These Arbiters are going to get there if we're not too careful. We are going to take this damage here. Sure. Down to 7. So let's see. This makes 1 mana now. Essentially, we get 3 mana off of it. So we do need another land. Oh, that is not the land we're looking for. That is not the land we're looking for. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. It's awkward. Awkward, awkward, awkward. Alright, well, we're going to play Solitary Confinement here. Draw a card. Ooh, Arbor Elf. I'll take an Arbor Elf. I will take an Arbor Elf. That'll help out immensely, immensely, immensely. Okay. Alright, so our opponent, hopefully, can't really interact with our stuff at this point. We have Shroud. Most of our enchantments have Shroud. We can't take damage. Feels like a pretty good spot. We eventually have an Emrakul to cast if we can get up to the mana, which obviously seems like a little ways off. But, yeah. Whenever our opponent just has a ton of paths in hand, and that's what's going on here. Flicker Wisp? Skyclave Apparition. Ooh, Skyclave Apparition. That's kind of a bummer. Yep, so now they can path things if they have an extra path. I guess that's what they were looking for. Man. Alright. I mean, I guess if they can... Well, even if they get rid of the Sithis, it's a little awkward because of our mana situation. Yeah, sure, we can't take damage. Yeah. So, sure. Opponent, sure. Okay, so what are we discarding? Are we discarding Emrakul? At this point, Emrakul's pretty far off. So I guess we just discard Emrakul. Emrakul does its thing. Let's see. This can make white mana. But then we still don't have green mana. Oof. Yeah, that's a weird spot we're in here. I think we just have to play... Like, if we play Sithis, we get to draw a card. But if we play Arbor Elf and they don't have removal, we can actually play stuff? Yeah, I think we have to play that. It's awkward, but we got to. I mean, I'm sure they have a path, and we're going to be sad, but... Or even another Skyclave would be pretty rough. But we need to be able to play our spells. Would be nice. And if at any point we can get up to 4 mana. we can actually crack our fetches. I'm amazed that our opponent has not cracked those silent clearings. Like, it's got to be Batterskull, right? Like, that's got to be why they're holding on to those. I mean, I guess if you got, like, Flicker Wisp, gets down to 2. Yeah, nothing we can do about it. Yeah, here comes the Flicker Wisp. Or another Skyclave obviously does it too. Now there's the Flicker Wisp. Alright. Sure. That does mean we get to untap with Arbor Elf, though. Okay. This is kind of awkward. Kind of awkward. I guess we're gonna discard Sigil for now. Alright. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. So if we want to add prevent all damage, but this is paying a life. Okay. So we could crack one of these, or we could just play Eidolon of Blossoms. Blossoms is a 2/2. If they have another Flicker Wisp next turn, I mean, there's nothing we can do about it. Or another Skyclave Apparition. Green? I guess. Makes 3, untap. Green. Playing Eidolon of Blossoms. Let's see what we get here. Alright. Another land we can't crack. Alright. Alright. Yeah. Pass the turn. We're going to hold this Windswept Heath in hand. Again, if our opponent, and they do have two shots at it as well because of their silent clearings, which they have refused to crack up until this point, but I have to imagine they're going to try this turn if they don't just draw it naturally. Yeah, here comes the draws. Did you find it? Looks like maybe. Looks like they found it. And there's no way we survive any blocks here, so... yeah. Flicker Wisp. Alright, cool. They got it. Alrighty. Maybe we need more removal. Maybe we need more removal. We don't have any more removal, but maybe we need some. Do we bring in Authority, or do we just like run it back like we have it? A little bit more life is kind of nice. Making our opponent's creatures enter the battlefield tap doesn't really matter. They're not. So it's really just, do we want to gain a life whenever a creature enters the battlefield in our opponent's control? I don't know if that's worth it for cutting any of our other things. So yeah, we're just gonna try like that. We're in the play, which should help. Man, those Arbiters, though. Those Arbiters were just, like, really, really keeping it locked down. I get why Unthin Ice is part of the deck. I get why Prismatic Ending is on the in the deck. I do think maybe a couple paths just to deal with things. Could be good. Could be good. I say, as I'm the one who built this deck. I mean, I didn't totally build this deck. Obviously, there's a ton of Enchantress decks out there right now. I built this version, and I did not put Path in it. And I'm kind of wondering if we should have. Alrighty, round 3, game 3, something, match 3, match 1, round 3, something. Words, numbers, hard. Ah, man, this had a land. Ooh. This is risky. We have a removal spell, but we don't have the snowland for it. We're gonna keep it. I'm gonna put solitary confinement to the bottom for now. Temple Garden untapped, Utopia Sprawl. Hopefully we don't just get Ghost Quarter. And I guess if we get Ghost Quarter, we can get Plains and let's see. We're gonna name white because we have Yavimaya. So yeah, so we do need a snowland for this Ice. Fine, opponent. Fine. You know what? Honestly, this is fine. Our opponent went down a land to stop our first play, but like, whatever. I guess. I don't know. That seems maybe not worth it. Maybe not worth it, opponent. We're gonna, if they want to path this, I think that's fine. We'll play our Sterling Grove next turn. Plains, either vial, sure. Okay. So, let's see, we could add green. Place this as a champion. Or do we play the Sterling Grove first? It's awkward because we can only make 2 mana with the Citizen Champion. This also does not have Shroud because it's not actually an enchantment. We do want to kind of get it down early though to make it big. So like playing this in front. Yeah, I think we're just gonna play Citizen Champion here. Pass it back. We get to do all sorts of stuff. This next turn. Hopefully get to go off a little bit. We're gonna draw hopefully a lot of cards here. Path is honestly not the worst. It's not the greatest, but yeah, Stoneforge Mystic. Kind of annoying. What do they go get? I'm assuming Cauldra. And we're gonna stick Cauldra in their hand for a little bit. Sword of Fire and Ice. Alright. Well, that's gonna be good then, I think. Ooh, Solitary Confinement. Cool beans. Cool beans. So I think we're gonna play Ice first. That helps our mana count, actually. Okay, yep. Let's always yield to that. Get big. Oh, that's weird, because, yeah. Oh, we drew a Sterling Grove. So then, get green. But we can't quite make enough. Let's see. So I guess we have to add white. And now we can play our Sterling Grove. I think we need to play the Sterling Grove. Ooh. And now we play our other Sterling Grove. Yep, that seems pretty good. Seems. And our opponent scoops it up, and that's what we want to do. That's what we want to do. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know about that turn 1 Ghost Quarter. Like, obviously it got us a little bit. But I feel like if our opponent had just like gone turn 1 Ether Vial, like that's much better, much better. As a D&D player, I think that's the right. I don't know. What do I know? I just play Magic for funsies. All right, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't already, check out our Patreon, and yeah, we'll see you in round 2.
Thank you for watching High Ground MTG with co-hosts Kai Guy and Spiny Mouse. If you enjoyed the content, please be sure to click that like button. And if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on future episodes of High Ground MTG. For even more videos, be sure to check out our playlists so that you can have the high ground.